Welcome to Castrol Active Champions. Our champion today had a buzz and a fizz about him long before the world got to know him and see him perform at the very highest level. Words started coming through in domestic cricket that there was this young turbaned Sikh bowler who was getting the ball to drop a little earlier than it was supposed to, was getting the ball to bounce. Then Navjot Singh Sidhu told me that he called him over to bowl at him in the nets, and he said within 2 balls I realized this young kid was different. The ball was coming fizzing at me and it was landing short. It was dropping. He said he was just a different off-spin bowler. Harbhajan Singh's career didn't quite start off the way it was supposed to. He had his issues early on, but then he landed up at the 2001 series against Australia. There was a camp before the series began, and there was Anil Kumble's arm in a sling talking to this young bowler, and we saw him straight away. You remember him for what happened in Kolkata and again in Chennai, bowled very well in Mumbai. He finished the series with 32 wickets. I don't think there will ever be a test series again that will be dominated by one bowler so much. The next best took 3 wickets. He took 64% of all the wickets that fell. And while you remember India versus Australia 2001 for Rahul Dravid and VVS Lakshman batting undefeated on the 4th day at the Eden Gardens, you remember it for Lakshman's 281, that stunning comeback. It was also a Harbhajan series. India were without lead bowlers. Javagal Srinath was injured after the first test. Anil Kumble was not available. India had 3 left-arm spinners in the 3 test matches. Somebody would come and bowl the new ball, and Harbhajan Singh just protected that. A young man protecting a bowling lineup. Much like Castrol Active's Actibonds protect your bike engine, whether running or off.
Well, Bajji being Bajji, he was fully charged. It was a very important series for him. He was making a comeback of sorts around that time. The hat-trick which Harbhajan took in Edens, has certainly defined his career, and the kind of bowling he was doing that series was phenomenal. You would see that Ricky Ponting coming in and going out. Harbhajan would make sure that he's back in the dressing room.
Then as his career went along, Harbhajan Singh, the batsman, started to bloom. You saw that initially in that 2002 game against England at Lord's, that fantastic run chase that India won, the NatWest. He was there at the end in 2001 as well. But as his career bloomed, he started to bat. He got 200s in 2010. Then that dramatic 6 in the Asia Cup against Pakistan of Mohammad Amir. He played the 2011 World Cup. That was big for everybody who was in it. And then he became captain of the Mumbai Indians in the Champions League. He had a brief session with Mumbai Indians before as captain in 2008. That didn't end very well. But by 2011, he was a far more mature person and ready to lead the side again. And the Mumbai Indians had just so many injuries. They could barely put together an 11. Nobody thought they'd go that far. And then they found themselves playing the final against RCB. They'd lost to RCB before, but the final was a completely different story. Just 139 to defend. The captain led from the front. He took 3 for 20, and he took this little inexperienced team of Mumbai Indians through to their first Champions League title. You could say he defended the Mumbai Indians against all the injuries and everything else and took them through to the Champions League, protected them like Castrol Active's Actibonds do a bike engine, whether it's running or off. Harbhajan Singh finished with 417 test wickets, and that puts him among the very best players that have ever played the game. Not just his generation, among the very best. Once you cross 400, you're in an elite group, and he did that with some wonderful bowling performances in India. He of course got bounce. The Dusra for a while was virtually unplayable, but he also got wickets overseas. He got wickets in the West Indies, he got wickets in South Africa, and in that period under Sourav Ganguly's captaincy, he really flowered to the extent that Ganguly had occasionally to leave out the mighty Anil Kumble when they only had one spinner to play. His been a fiery character, hasn't he, in many ways, Harbhajan Singh. He's had his moments, whether at the NCA in 1998, whether in Australia in that ill-tempered tour of 2007-8, the IPL of 2008. But the Harbhajan that you see now is a very different person. He's had a daughter, he's mellowed, and you get the feeling that the Harbhajan Singh of today, as he sits in a commentary box, especially in Hindi, a language that he not only speaks well but has a great sense of humor around, you get the feeling that he's a far more relaxed person looking ahead to the future. But when he looks back, he'll look back and say, you know what, I think I did well. 417 test wickets. I'll have a page to myself in the history of Indian cricket, and I'm looking forward to some really funny moments with Harbhajan Singh in the commentary box. But by all accounts, by any definition, he's been a Castrol Active champion.